This review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future may contain spoilers and coarse language. If neither of those bother you, then have fun watching and enjoying this review. What a media storm JoJo is. A popular manga and anime series certainly got a lot more attention than most medias have. But I don't care. I enjoy the hell out of JoJo. And nowhere is this more prevalent than JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future, a fighting game created by Capcom that really takes the JoJo IP and crams everything it can into a game. Heritage for the Future is also the first revision of the original arcade game, which was JoJo's Venture. This version also features a variety of brand new characters, making it the best version of the game. With that, we'll have to talk about this game, won't we? Is it amazing? Is it crap? Can I make a clickbait title out of this and throw away my dignity? Oh, I sure as hell could, but I ain't doing that. So, let's start talking about this game, starting with the story. The story for this is the same as Part 3 of the JoJo manga. Dio, the main villain from Part 1, has come back, and he has found a way to continue his life as a vampire by using the body of Jonathan Joestar, who is Joseph and Jotaro's relative. With Part 3 of JoJo is where the creation of stands come from. They are a spiritual manifestation of, I guess, one's own spirit. However, people with not strong spirits are subjugated to the stand killing them, which is what's happening to Jotaro's mom, aka Joseph's daughter. So, they set out to kill Dio so that Holly can recover. However, Dio has also sent his own henchmen to kill the Joestars. While that's the base of the story, it's pretty much the same as it is in the fighting game, with details and fights cut due to said characters not being playable or just difficult to code, or they would be boring. I don't know how they could adapt strength. Overall, there are some things here that are cut. However, the main story mode is still fun because it's unique per character, and includes many fun things like minigames and bonus rounds for never losing. A great example of a unique story would happen to be young Joseph's. While Joseph himself never fought Alessi, it is a what-if scenario if Alessi accidentally made him younger. So what does he do? He beats up everyone and then beats up Alessi. It's quite an interesting and funny story. A great example of a minigame would have to be Jotaro's Desert Stage, where Jotaro has to hop over Geb and smack and duel before the time runs out. Death 13 is also a hidden boss fight if you continue through the game without losing a battle. Tons of attention to detail like this help make the game more satisfying to play, and I can see why. If perchance you're not a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, some of the things that happened in Part 3 may be lost on you, but you'll still find the aesthetic and story to be very pleasing. JoJo's gameplay is one that's easy to figure out. It's a 4-button fighting game, with 3 buttons being for attack, light, medium, heavy, and 1 for the stand. Of these attacks, you have the ability to string them together in the ground or in the air. Much like many other fighting games, you have basic moves, special moves where you do a special input like a quarter circle or a dragon punch, and supers, which are just like special moves but use meter that you build up as you fight in the game. Activating the stand button puts you into a stand mode, which is very similar to your own original attacks, but pumped up to be more powerful. You also have 2 health bars, the regular one for your character and the one for your stand. Stands, when in active mode, offer better protection from things like chipping damage from guarding, better mobility with things like double jumping, and unique attacks that your character isn't usually able to do. When the stand's health reaches 0, it causes a stand crash, and this crash forces your stand away and makes you open for attacks. Though some characters have unique types of stands where hitting the stand button could simply just be another attack, or will summon a stand but won't let you keep it active. When your character's health reaches 0, well, you lose the round. There are also rounds, which I hope I don't have to explain either. Though I should explain that there is a push block element and a dodge ability, where slapping all 3 attack buttons will make the character dodge and push back if blocking. Another extra cool move is hitting small, medium, and heavy attack to escape a grab. And there's stand summoning moves like quarter circle forward and stand to do an attack when your stand shows up. And for my personal favorite, quarter circle back and stand, this makes your stand come out, but you're able to enter a unique button combination for your stand to perform. Once you're done holding the stand button down, your stand will fly out and perform all the buttons that you mashed in that time period. Yeah, it is quite a fun move to do. Yeah, there is quite a bit to talk about with JoJo's mechanics, but it is definitely a mechanically sound game. Because of that, they decided to fill it with the wacky cast of characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. And yeah, they can certainly be wacky. JoJo's most unique gameplay element are the characters and their stands. So many unique characters come from this game, and very few of them are arguably similar, barring actual clones of the exact same character, but we'll talk about that later. Though the primary mode for this game is to play it like it's a footsie kind of game, it's definitely a fighting game that benefits all types of players. You have big buff stands that are easier to remember combos, hit fast, many auto combos for pummeling, me hurt you with big button attacky, Jotaro Star Platinum punch hard, me like playing you. You also have zoners and others who can distance themselves from you with their stand, like how Kakyoin is able to get extremely annoying if you don't get close to him and close the damn gap. You also have ones that don't have active stands like Mariah, whose whole gimmick revolves around hitting you with her plug, causing the enemy to have a higher magnetism level and making her attacks hit harder. You need to be extremely skilled, or just very good at mashing the stand button, to play as her. There's others that have unique gimmicks like the 3 Anubis characters. All 3 have a parry ability and will cancel out your move if you hit them again with it. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean he'll parry Dio and suck his blood. That means I have the market cornered. But yeah, there's 3 of them! Not sure why Capcom liked Anubis so much, but there's 3 of him! Yet there's also clones of the same character with different moves, such as Dio and Shadow Dio, who are the same person of course, but one doesn't have his stand in an active sense, only as support. One favorite addition of mine is Joseph from his younger years in Part 2 of Jojo. While he's not the best character in the game, his stand button instead doubles as his clackers, which can be deadly if used properly. My favorite characters in the game are Jotaro, Young Joseph, and despite her sucking, Mariah. These characters all have certain niches that make them really fun and great to play. Aside from Pet Shop. Pet Shop is unbelievably broken. He can fly, his attacks cover gigantic ranges, he does a lot of damage. Ooh, he is a pain in the ass, and it's usually a gentleman's agreement to not pick him. So if anyone you know actually picks him, fuck him up! Each character in this game offers different moves and different kinds of stands, along with hidden moves and spoilers for other parts. So you better be quite a big fan of JoJo if you don't want your ass spoiled to fucking back. Speaking of JoJo fan service, there's quite a bit in this game. One of the most fun things about this game is just how much detail there is for people who are fans of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A great example is young Joseph's ability to predict his opponent's next line. While he only does this with the main cast, it's pretty hilarious whenever it happens. Among that, there are references when Alessi turns characters into younger versions of themselves. Not all the characters turn into what they should be, and it's funny to see the references that follow from it. Even right down to the menus, you even have all the cards listed for the stand names, and you even have Daniel J. Darby as the person guiding you through the menu. My personal favorite detail is how one of the playable characters was barely shown in the manga, got a redesign, Midler. She's got an Arabian belly dancer motif and was actually designed by the creator of JoJo, Hirohiko Araki. This kind of attention to detail is what really makes me enjoy this game more, and I feel that other fans of the manga or anime would get a kick out of it. In terms of what you can do in the game, as discussed earlier, there's already a basic story mode. Though there is a bit of bias on which person is favored for the story, it is usually pretty okay. There's also the challenge mode, which is a great endurance run, and it shows you how good you are at the game. Well, it seems I could be doing better. Finally, it wouldn't be a fighting game without the multiplayer, which is here and in full force. This game is very fun to play online via Fightcade, specifically because of the rollback netcoding, making it easier to fight people at greater distances. However, there's local play too, just in case you made everyone mad in the lobby, so, yeah. Well, at least it's not the Third Strike lobby. Of that, it should be noted I'm playing the second version of the game, Heritage for the Future. The original version of the game was a bit smaller in scope, called JoJo's Venture here in the States. While doing a playthrough of it on original hardware, as you can see here, I did notice quite a few differences. The first thing that I noticed is that a lot of the graphical effects are completely different. Not only that, but Jojo has a bit more health on his stand. And there's also a different input for the guard cancel, which is drag and punch forward in the actual game. But regardless of that, everyone plays Heritage for the future instead. I don't really have much else to say. I just don't want my girlfriend to get pissed that she spent 13 minutes recording me to make me not use this footage. The game's art is gorgeous, and I do mean gorgeous. This game uses Capcom's famous CP System 3 board, which was used to power Street Fighter 3, and is also flexing the abilities of this piece of hardware wonderfully. Characters look like they're taken straight from the manga, and all have cool poses and effects like wind blowing and clock physics to really tell you that the animation is fucking killer. Yet oddly enough, despite this incredibly detailed animation, none of the moves in the game feel sluggish. It feels like this game is fast and sacrificed what it could to make the game still play well. The color design is also gorgeous, as it has really nice and vibrant colors to make it easy to see all the characters in the game. But what's the best part about this? Perfectly smooth 60 frames per second. The game runs extremely well, and I've rarely encountered slowdown that wasn't related to stuff like online rollback. Oh yeah, you can really feel that. The audio for this game is a different story. Most of the songs in the game in terms of actual melody sound great. But there's no denying that the instruments that were used for it are tinny sounding and seem to be of lower quality. This kind of tinny sounding music is something common in CP System 3 games. Not just this game, but Street Fighter 3 and Red Earth both have the same issue. Regardless of that, I do have favorite themes. Kakyoin's theme in particular is spectacular. I also really enjoy Joseph, Black Polnareff, Jotaro, and Dio's theme. Sound effects for this game are meaty. There's some really good impact to them, and there are also very clear indifferences between them. You'll know what's going on with them so well you could probably play this game with your eyes closed. You know, some people do that, and if you do tell me if it is. The voice acting is interesting. Despite there being an OVA adaptation of this part of Jojo, it seems like none of the voice actors from the OVA made it into this game, meaning this is just a random cast of people, but they surprisingly do a good job. The voice actors that play both of the Josephs, young and old, really deserve some extra credit for their performance. Ah, that is Jojo. So say Capcom handed me the reins and I had total control over this project. What would I change? The easiest thing for me is slapping better instruments onto the music. The music itself is composed well, but the instruments are just not very good. Though I'm not sure if CP System 3 can handle better instruments than that, I think it's something I'd try to risk anyway. So it really wouldn't hurt to try and get some better instrument variation. But in terms of actually important stuff, the character variation in the game is kinda depressing. 3 different Anubis characters. Are you kidding me? They don't play the same, sure, but absolutely could those places be given to other stand users from Part 3. Like the Assassin with Dark Blue Moon would have been fun to play with, since we don't really know how good it was outside of water. Some more variations with Rubber Soul besides it obviously reusing Kakyoin sprites would be pretty good too. The other changes include just general balancing stuff, like making Pet Shop have quite a bit of a limit. Pet Shop is just incredibly fast and incredibly broken. There are attacks that Pet Shop has that just come out in almost a frame. It's insane how fast he is. And making Mariah just a bit more beefy since, well, she doesn't really have that much beef in the first place. It also doesn't help that most of the time if you want to increase a character's magnetism level, you actually do have to hit him with your stand. She doesn't have exactly that many options with it. There's certainly more that could be changed, but those are the top 2 that come to mind. Along with some added things, I do think that the Vanilla Ice boss fight in the story mode is fucking terrible. I have no idea why it's this fucking terrible, but it is this fucking terrible, so yeah. I'm not sure why they couldn't have just made it a normal fucking fight, but they should have. I also think adding some more beef to the characters' stories wouldn't hurt. Like how young Joseph and Mariah only have 6 fights over Jotaro's 8, 2 bonus stages, and yeah, you get the picture. Just to have some fun with, like, maybe Mariah, to have something like Dio and Vanilla Ice training her before she goes out to hunt the Joestars, that would have been fine. Anyway, that seems about all I'd have to change. It's not too much, yeah, but there's not much I'd like to change. So that's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Heritage for the Future. I have to admit that it is quite an impressive and fun game. It's probably one of my favorite fighting games of all time, honestly. So I think that should cut it plain and simple, right? Go ahead and play it. It's a really great and fun game, especially if you're a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you're wondering what you should get this on, I would recommend getting it on Fightcade, because Fightcade has network rollback implemented in it, so the game is actually a lot more fun to play online. If you also think this game is nice and wacky, you should check out my game too, Necrolepsy, which is also nice and wacky. But to conclude, I think that you should honestly go ahead and play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It is a really great and fun fighting game, like I really do like it a lot. And for my personal favorite, Quarter Circle... Okay.